Football has seen dynasties. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Manchester United. But none of them ever achieved what Nottingham Forest did. A club that spent most of its existence in the shadows. A club that wasn't even in England's top division. A club expected merely to survive. Yet within 3 years, they conquered England, then Europe again. And somehow, they won more European Cups than league titles. This is not just football's greatest underdog story. It may be the greatest miracle the sport has ever witnessed. Before the late 1970s, Nottingham Forest were almost an afterthought. Founded in 1865, they were one of England's oldest clubs. Yet history had largely ignored them. They had won only one FA Cup. No league titles. No European football. No reputation as a giant. Meanwhile, clubs like Liverpool, Leeds United, Derby County, and Manchester United dominated English football. Forest were simply there. By 1975, they weren't even in the first division. Supporters hoped for promotion. Nobody dreamed of greatness. Then came one man, Brian Clough. Charismatic, arrogant, brilliant, controversial. By then, Clough had already shocked England by taking tiny Derby County from the second division to league champions. Then came his disastrous 44 days at Leeds United. His managerial career appeared finished. Few clubs wanted him. Nottingham Forest took the gamble. It changed football history forever. Together with his trusted assistant Peter Taylor, Clough immediately transformed the club. Not just tactically, psychologically. He convinced average players they belonged among the elite. That belief became Forest's greatest weapon. Forest won promotion in 1977. For most clubs, promotion means survival becomes the next objective. Forest ignored that script. Instead of fighting relegation, they chased the title. England couldn't believe what they were witnessing. The 1977-78 season became one of football's greatest fairy tales. Liverpool were European champions. Manchester City had stars. Everton were powerful. Leeds remained respected. Yet week after week, Nottingham Forest kept winning. Their defence became almost impossible to break. Goalkeeper Peter Shilton arrived from Stoke City for a British record fee for a goalkeeper. Many questioned the price. Soon everyone realised it was a bargain. Forest conceded just 24 goals all season. To put that into perspective, modern title-winning teams often concede nearly twice that amount. Against every prediction, Nottingham Forest won the first division in their very first season after promotion. It remains one of the greatest achievements in English football. But unbelievably, their story was only beginning. European Cup football was different. No group stages. No safety net. Lose once. You're out. English newcomers weren't expected to challenge Europe's giants. Forest's reward: defending European champions Liverpool. Almost everyone expected the fairy tale to end immediately. Instead, Forest stunned Europe. They defeated Liverpool. The champions were gone. The newcomers survived. Suddenly, Europe started paying attention. Forest kept advancing. Grasshoppers, AEK Athens, FC Köln. Every round increased belief. Then came the final. Munich. Their opponents. Malmö. Trevor Francis had become Britain's first £1 million footballer. Critics mocked the transfer. Then, moments before half-time, Francis met John Robertson's cross. One perfect header. One historic goal. One European Cup. Nottingham Forest. Champions of Europe. A sentence nobody imagined possible just 3 years earlier. Most underdog stories end after one miracle. Forest had another chapter. The following season, they returned. Again, people doubted them. Again, they refused to lose. In Madrid, they faced Hamburg. Kevin Keegan's Hamburg, one of Europe's strongest teams. John Robertson scored. Forest defended magnificently. 90 minutes later, history repeated itself. Back-to-back European champions. Even today, very few clubs have ever achieved that. Nottingham Forest did, without ever being considered a traditional European giant. How did they do it? Money? No. Superstars? Not really. Brian Clough's greatest gift wasn't tactics. It was man management. He removed fear. He simplified football. He trusted players others had overlooked. John Robertson had been considered overweight. Clough turned him into one of Europe's finest wingers. Martin O'Neill became captain. Viv Anderson became England's first black international. Ordinary footballers became legends. Because one manager believed they could. Football changes quickly. Peter Taylor retired. The partnership that built Forest disappeared. English clubs were soon banned from European competitions following the Heysel disaster. Forest slowly declined. The magic faded. Brian Clough remained. But even he couldn't stop time. Relegation eventually arrived. The kings of Europe had fallen. Today many younger fans know Nottingham Forest simply as another Premier League club. But history tells another story. A club with 1 English League title, 2 European Cups. Those numbers seem impossible. Yet they're real. Forest remain one of only a handful of clubs ever to win consecutive European Cups. Their achievement has never been repeated by another newly promoted side. Their rise remains almost unimaginable in modern football. Could it ever happen again? Probably not. Modern football is dominated by billion-pound squads, financial power, global scouting networks, state-backed ownership. The gap between giants and underdogs has never been larger, which makes Nottingham Forest's story even more extraordinary. Because they proved that for one brief, unforgettable moment, belief could defeat wealth, teamwork could defeat superstars, and football could still produce miracles. Every football fan dreams that their club could one day shock the world. Nottingham Forest didn't just shock the world. They conquered it. Twice. And perhaps we'll never see anything quite like it again.